good.
Yeah.
I'm
Okay,
good. I'm
cool.
happy to do it. I appreciate the opportunity. You guys, everybody staying healthy and everything?
Yeah, no, we're doing well. We're doing well, thank God. I mean, it's you get time with the family, as you know, but then, I'm really trying to take advantage of this additional time as best we can. I know everybody's in a different situation, and it's like I feel so bad for people without the jobs and the financial stuff. I mean, it's just awful. But in terms of the time, like I'm just trying to like get caught up on stuff, right? I mean, what about you with all this, I'm sure a little bit of extra time than what you normally would have, right?
Yeah, you say that, Mike, but the extra time is not extra time because you spend so much time spending, efforts into trying to know what's going on with the news, and then you're zooming and you're thinking, all right, how can I help be more effective in that process, and how can you connect better with people? And when you're seeing everybody through this little screen you and I are looking at, it's just different. That's all. It's just different.
Yeah, well,
I mean,
you're right.
imagine you calling a game from that just chair and going. Yeah, I mean, you're like, well, I don't even know what's going on.
I know, and we've done some of that before, as you know. I mean, there's some games where we can be in the studio completely and calling games from there, and then there's some where we're on site and our producers and directors are back at the station, and then there's some where we're all on site. I'm a little scared about what could happen down the road when all this is somewhat cleared up and the new measures in place. What about you?
Oh yeah, I think that all of us are. I hate to use the term new normal because there is not going to be a new normal. It's just going to be new. It's just going to be new. So the question is, how can all of us take advantage of that and really grow from it and create new brand, new engagement, new tools to help us do what we need to do. But I think to assume that it's all going to be the coming back to normal, I think is probably a stretch.
Yeah. Mike, what's it like, with all the other different universities and other ADs that you talk to? I mean, I can only remember from when I was ready to do the American Athletic Basketball Tournament. And then that day where all the tournaments just started getting canceled, one by one, it was like bang, bang, bang. Do you have a sense of like, if I don't do something and somebody else does, or they don't and I do, how that affects everybody? I mean, I can only imagine, when not everybody's all on the same page.
No, I think you're exactly right. I think that's one of the biggest challenges. Everybody going, okay, well, what are you doing in California versus what's going on in Iowa? Well, guess what? Iowa is having a way different experience than we are. And I think that's the biggest challenge for everyone is, well, if it's okay in Iowa and Nebraska and the Dakotas, then why isn't it okay here? And it's just different. I mean, for example, I believe the East Coast had a very different experience than Seattle and California are experiencing with it. So that's what makes it so difficult. And then to think, okay, well, let's start playing football, and it's okay to play in front of full stadiums in Nebraska and Iowa, but it's not in Los Angeles or New Orleans or in the Northeast.
Yeah, no, I know. And all it's going to take is, one more case of something to happen, or a relapse, and we don't need that.
No, we're all cheering for America right now. That's what I'm doing.
So if we, if things hopefully get better, and we're all praying, we're all hoping that things start to, get a little bit better down the road here. We're all hoping that a college football season would potentially start on time. But if it doesn't, I mean, and we're hearing, of course, everything's speculation, right? Until we know more facts. But I mean, what would happen if they move that to the spring? Like when I saw some note about that. I mean, what happens if college doesn't get played until the spring? I mean, do you even see that being possible with all the other sports? I mean, what would that be like?
Well, first and foremost, my thoughts are with our athletes and thinking, all right, what's going to work for them and what is best for them? And then you start thinking about all the ancillary partners that come into play. Obviously, our fans, our student body, the band, our spirit squad, the community, the media, television. Mm-hmm. And you start thinking, okay, well, you assume that all those telephone windows would exist in the spring. Well, that may not be true. So I think that's the most difficult part during this challenge is making assumptions about anything.
Right.
And I think that's why we're fortunate to have wonderful health officials helping us and our commissioners. And I'm thrilled the way the Autonomy 5 commissioners work together. They talk all the time. They work together. I was thrilled to have them be a part of the conversation with Vice President Pence and talking about all aspects associated with trying to make sure we're all on the same page.
Yeah, and it's so tough too, Mike, because there's so many people out there with all their opinions and beliefs and this and that. Like sometimes I like to just kind of say, hey, listen, guys, do you understand how difficult this is? I think we should just all have a little bit more respect for everybody. I'm not getting into any politics, any of that. I'm just saying respect for how difficult anybody in any position is with this whole thing right now, right? Everybody seems to have an opinion like they could do it better. I hate that.
Well, I think that's why we recently sent out some T-shirts to all of our student athletes, and Coach Helton did a great job of kicking it off. And as you know, we talk about the fighting mentality here, and we built it into we all fight as one, and added an E to the fight on, because you're right, we're all in this together. We're all cheering for America, for our economy, for the health of our loved ones and people we care about, and obviously all the leaders and scientists and frontline health experts that are working so hard to do everything they can. So we are truly all in it together, and I think that's why we just got to continue to be respectful and encouraging and helpful, and do everything we can to hopefully come out of it quicker than we can maybe expect.
Yeah, I mean, I commend you because I know you're all on top of this. I mean, I saw one of your messages to the population there that 100% of your counseling services are available, at USC for not only your students and people there, but beyond the community in the city, and how much you value mental health right now of your student athletes and everybody, especially during this time. I mean, it's important no matter what.
Well, no question about it, and I think that's why USC has been on the forefront of that nationally for quite some time, even before the challenge hit us. And imagine what all those young men and young women from across the world. I mean, we have international athletes all over, and thinking, okay, now they're back home. What are they doing? How are they adjusting to mom and dad? Or maybe they're having problems with mom and dad and their jobs and food and routines. And imagine being an international student and you're taking your classes online and you're taking them in the middle of the night.
Right.
And so there's a mental angst that comes along with that. So I think obviously just trying to help all of them. And can you imagine sitting in front of the screen like you and I are right now all day long, going from class to class and professors and trying to understand the projects and what you're trying to do and how you submit them. And I mean, there's a lot of pressure, and then you think, well, my stuff's still back in my dorm room, and I miss my friends, I miss my buddies, my girlfriend, whatever, teammates, and just the pressures associated with that. And then you start thinking of the seniors that are graduating, and you're thinking the pressures that they have on trying to find a job and all the different aspects that they're going through. So obviously that's why we're locked in on trying to make sure our student athletes are always first and foremost in all of our decisions.
No doubt about it. I mean, I just hope that, I mean, I know it's going to be a little while before, people start their mindset changes again, but let's hope that this isn't becoming like what's going to happen down the road, where we don't interact face to face with people anymore. Or we don't go on as many meetings or trips because, we can do this. I mean, hey, I know this is great. I can see you can me and all that, but like, I don't want it to replace the actual interactions that we've had personally with people and friends and family. And, that could be very difficult.
No, and I think, Mike, that's what your brand is really good about. I mean, you do a great job of pulling people together. And I think that's why intercollegiate athletics is unique for our country, because it is a rallying point. It's a rallying point to come together and to be around competition and the community and all the different aspects that make it great, and a sense of pulling together. I mean, imagine all the love of our country right now, and guess what? We have nowhere to sing the national anthem as a group, because we do that at sporting events. That's where we do that, and that's where we take a minute and think how lucky we are to be Americans, and all the great things that are going on to try and band together. And so I think that's why it's just tough, because there are so many people that are impacted.
Yeah, no, there really is. I want to get back to your experience for a moment. I'm just trying to think back. So you were at San Diego State, right? Colorado, Cincinnati, and then now, of course, USC. Those are your 4 stops for AD, right?
Yeah, actually, I was first an athletic director at the University of Idaho in
Idaho.
1997, and we made the
Okay.
move to 1A, and we actually went to the school's first bowl game that first year, and that was an epic experience. That was really amazing, and I really enjoyed being at Idaho. And they have since gone back to the championship subdivision, which is kind of a bummer, but they got to do what's right for them. But the Idaho experience was great. I was the athletic director there for 5.5 years, and I can remember taking our team as we moved to 1A down to play LSU, and that was crazy.
Mm.
That was crazy. I mean, we drove down and scored the first touchdown of the game. It was 7-0, and I can remember looking down, and their fans are looking at their program. Is this Iowa? Who is this? Wait a minute. We don't lose the lead to Idaho. And anyway, that was a great experience. It really was.
That's awesome. I mean, all those different like stops that you made, the experience of the people that you've probably met along the way, right? I mean, tell me about that and how the network just kind of continues to grow, and the friendships and the people that you've got to associate yourself with all that time.
Well, you know what, Mike? People say it's a journey. Well, guess what? It is a journey.
Yeah.
And when you have an opportunity, I can remember when I was fortunate enough to be named athletic director at the University of Idaho. Some of my colleagues are like, Mike, Idaho, what are you thinking? And you know what? It was awesome. It was great. I mean, just being able to do that, and then being able to go to San Diego State and do some wonderful things there in a short amount of time there, and then to be able to go back to my hometown as AD in Colorado after the major scandal. I mean, really the first Title IX major scandal in America, and the challenges associated with that. But I was young and had a lot of energy, and maybe were a little naive about things because it was my hometown. I had a lot of energy and excitement, but I thought we left it in a good space. And then to be able to go to Cincinnati and do some really fun things there around some great people, and just the coaches that we were able to assemble there, and working with Mick Cronin and basketball, and Luke, and then John Brannon and Scott Guggens. I mean, I could go through all the coaches there. That was really special. And then being able to be engaged with the USC process and be able to come to USC as athletic director is really the biggest challenge, the biggest opportunity, the biggest honor of my life. And I'm blessed and thrilled to be here. But I have the utmost respect for what the expectations here are, and what the lore of being a Trojan is, and just trying to gobble that up. And I think that's why it's particularly difficult, because I've been here 5 months now, and 2 months have been basically wrapped up in being at home. And so you're right. You don't miss that interchange, that connectivity, the relationships, because I believe a viable intercollegiate athletic program is built on relationships, just like yours.
Yeah. Well, and what are you trying to do for yourself, like personally and mentally, that you could say to other people about what you just mentioned? Like, you get there, you have probably a way about what you want to do, and a method, and all these things that you had ready to go do and in place to kind of help, understand the culture there and meet with people. And now it all comes to a screeching halt. It's like, okay, now what am I going to do? And then, like, I know everybody's feeling this, like we all feel behind, we almost feel, well, we got another month or 2 months or 3 months, and everything gets pushed back. What do you say? What can you do about that? What's the advice you'd give, knowing what you got to deal with and maybe what other people have to deal with?
Well, I don't know, Mike, if I'm in any position to give advice. I mean, I'm in this, like I said, we're all in the same boat. So, yeah. But as I talk to student athletes and the different things that we talk about, is trying to obviously stay positive. And how do you stay positive? You engage with different people. Like I just told you, I was on the phone just now with my high school co-captain teammate in basketball, and we were fortunate enough to win a state championship. And just to talk about, we were just joshing, going on, who else did we lose to? And then where were we ranked at the end, and all this different stuff. It's just fun. But I think that the best advice I give people is to do exactly what we're doing, is talk to people, reach out, see what's going on, see how they're doing, and try and encourage people as much as you can. And obviously it's about family. I think I'm here with my wife, and I'm lucky that she's here, but it's tough knowing that our kids and our grandkids are elsewhere, and they're going through the challenges of homeschool and all those different things. But I think that the best thing to do, I talked with a longtime great supporter and booster and friend of mine and he sent me a note, and he was really down, and I fired right back to him. I said, tomorrow you get up and call an old customer. He's a sales phenom. And I said, you pick up the phone and call your two best favorite customers tomorrow. And he goes, I said, so then I called him in the morning at noon. I said, did you call him? He goes, I called him. And I go, how did it feel? And they said, the other one.
Yeah.
So then trying to touch base with people as much as you can.
I agree 100%. I'm doing that. I've actually called my mom every day now. I talk to
Good
my mom and
job.
dad every day. Yeah. And
Good
then,
job.
so then I talked to my brother and sister-in-law. She's like, hey, that's great, Mike. That's great. But let me just let you know that, you know, when things do go back and you're a lot busier now, you got this expectation now to hold up. And she's going to probably think, hey, where's my daily call? You know? So it's like, but I think it's awesome because we probably should be doing a lot more of that. And we never have. And we've been able to do that. We had a Zoom call with all 8 of my really good friends from UMass. We had where I went to school.
Oh, nice.
We had like a core group of 8 of them, and we had them all on at the same time, all on this Zoom on a Friday night. Last Friday night, we started at 7 p.m. and we didn't get off the Zoom until 12:40 in the morning. It was like we were all hanging out on some trip.
Isn't that great?
Yeah,
Isn't that fun? That's
really
unconditional
cool.
Friendships. It's kind of like playing Hollywood Squares when you get 9 on there. You say, I'll take Mike Corey for the block, please.
Yeah, exactly. I know. We should have made a game of it. Would have been awesome.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, hey, now I know it's an unbelievable opportunity for you out there, and I know there's just so much going on right now. But it's just awesome to connect with you. And I hopefully someday I'll get out there and hopefully get a couple of games your way. I'll be able to come catch up with you in person again.
You will. You will. LA's, in my opinion, even in the short time I've been here, I've understood the incredible sports city that it is, and in entertainment and the vivaciousness of how sports and Hollywood and all that energy really combine is just awesome. And then you mix in our incredible institution with its research and notoriety on the academic side. I'm very blessed and excited to be here and recognize the challenges that's ahead. But again, we've just got to continue to work on all our different relationships, and hopefully one day we'll be able to start touching people again in a sense of being with them is a better way to say it, I guess, than actually touching them. Well, we're going to be doing elbow touches, I think. I'm not sure we're going to be doing a lot of shaking hands for a long time.
Yeah, fist pump, I'm sure is going to be going on for a little while. But hey, we'll make it through. It's always good to catch up with you, Mike. Thanks so much, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, good luck to you. Stay positive. Keep doing all the great things. Just keep talking to your family. I'm going to try and do the same thing.
Sounds good. Take care, man.
All right, fight on. Thank you.